Marg Applebee, thanks for joining us on Shooting the Breeze, Central West Landcare Coordinator for the area. How long have you been with Landcare for?
So nearly 10 years, which has gone surprisingly quickly.
Yes.
I would probably say that most of that I have thoroughly enjoyed. Yeah.
Terrific. What made you join Landcare? Tell us a little bit about Landcare.
Well, I had actually been part of Landcare as a volunteer many years ago. And obviously I have a background with natural resource management through my work many years ago as well, pre-children.
Yeah.
And so I'd had my two boys and was looking for work, looking to get back in the workforce, and the role came up with Landcare, which was just part-time admin finance role, and I just thought, oh my gosh, we're made for each other. And so I've just progressed on since then. So took on the coordinator role probably 5 years ago, and haven't looked back.
Good. Now we better start off with the cow.
The cow.
Because everyone will be watching and going, what's the go with the cow? So tell us a little bit about the cow.
So Geraldine, we actually got Geraldine for Parks hosted the 2011 Landcare and LLS conference. So hundreds of people to town, which was very exciting for us. And so we actually got Geraldine for the conference, for actually the kids. We ran a kids day, and they painted her. So this is her second coming. Yeah. So she's actually named Geraldine after our Landcare coordinator that actually organised this space for us here at Kelly Reserve. Yeah. And he unfortunately passed away just before the conference in 2011. So we call her Geraldine in memory of Gerald Carney. Yeah. And fortunately, as part of NAIDOC Week, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, we had Glenn Sloan painted her. Yep. So Glenn's a very talented Wiradjuri artist from Parks. Works for Park Shire Council as well. Yep. And so he gave her beautiful fresh look, and we're keen to keep her that way now, obviously. She gets dressed up for Elvis each year, Yes. Well, so another year away now, but she'll be missing this year. She hasn't been to street parade. She did come to us to our dinner in Forbes a few years ago. She makes a few appearances for special occasions. Yes. But she keeps me company here at Landcare.
It's a terrific story, and a good testament to Gerald as well.
For sure.
Yeah. Now tell us a little bit about Landcare, I suppose. For those people out there, you drive around on the highway, you see a Landcare sign, you don't really think too much about it. What does Landcare do?
So Landcare, I guess it depends on where you actually live. So Landcare is sometimes working on dune care works, and sometimes it's working in river, sometimes it's working in weeding. Sometimes for me, a large part of what I do is educational, so I enjoy working with schools and teaching children about the environment and farming as well. It's not just the environment. And for instance, next year we're looking forward to expanding our Eco Day, which previously had targeted. So you've been part of our Eco Day.
Eco Day.
Yeah. Oh, okay. We'll leave Eco Day.
You're going to look at expanding it.
Yeah. So we're looking at expanding that. So that's something that we've been wanting to do for many years, and schools had, I guess repeatedly asked, whether there was a possibility of being able to bring more children to Eco Day, because it's a wonderful opportunity for kids to learn and be interactive, I suppose, in the space. So we're looking forward to expanding that next year.
So Eco Day, the day that I went to was at Forbes Sale Yards.
Yeah. Yep.
And it was a great day. There was a lot of school kids there, but it was only the one day.
Yeah, only the one day.
So obviously you can't get that many kids through in the one day. But
so that was just 100 kids, 100 kids that day, and they were just representatives from schools. So, and from stage 3, so years 5, 6, from Parks and Forbes Shire schools. So next year, so 28th of May, we're expanding. We actually have to relocate to the showground, to the Forbes showground, to be able to accommodate years 5, from Parks and Forbes Shire schools, so about probably 350 children. So we've already had, so it's a fantastic opportunity. We've got some funding to support that already, and still looking for more funding to support that.
So that day we did a number of activities. I mean, there was obviously classroom-based activities, but there was the snake handler who had some snakes, and that really got the kids going.
Everyone loves the snake man.
Everyone loves the snake man. Yeah, I'm not a fan of snakes.
No, neither am I. That was the first time I'd actually touched a snake.
To touch it. But no, look, that's really it's a great way to get the next generation involved and interested, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And I think that age group of probably 11, 12-year-olds, it's before they're kind of getting into, still impressionable and still ready to learn heaps, and they're excited about learning opportunities. So really, really fortunate that we've had that opportunity to expand Eco Day.
What? So you're the Central West Lachlan Landcare coordinator.
Yeah. Yep.
So what other Landcare groups, or what Landcare groups do you work with or in your catchment?
So basically I work over the Parks and Forbes Shire. So the traditional Landcare groups that we had maybe when Landcare was initiated really in our area have pretty much dissolved. We still have groups that are based in an area, but actually as a incorporated body, which a lot of the smaller groups were, they have, dissolved those incorporations. So we still work with an area, and they still represent a specific group, but they're not formalised as they used to be. So, and we run a lot of events that are pretty much kind of, I guess, not ad hoc, but anyone can be involved, I guess. You don't have to be part of a specific group. And I guess that's become the bigger focus for Landcare and the Parks and Forbes Shires is making it inclusive and, just available. And if people want to just show up, they can show up and be part of an activity on a day. Yeah.
And I think you work a lot hand in hand with a lot of farmers as well.
Yeah, for sure. So that's obviously an important part of what we do. And so we've tried to look at alternatives as well to the, I guess, traditional farming project, in that obviously the last couple of years with the drought, I guess we tried to look at different ways that we could be still bringing finances or funds and that feeling of community to the town, but not necessarily telling people what they should be doing, because no one wants to hear that during the midst of drought. So that's when we took the opportunity to put in a submission to host the Rural Women's Gathering in Forbes. So I guess we saw that as an opportunity to be still keeping finances and also keeping enthusiasm within our rural community, but just from a different angle. And obviously since then our conditions have changed significantly and we've had to put that off. So but still looking forward to next year though, regrouping for next year.
Yeah. I was going to say, what impact has not only the drought but like COVID had in your role and in the community that you deal with?
So COVID actually meant that I could take some time off, which was overdue. So that was good for me. But obviously, sort of being our only person here in Parks Forbes, you still have to keep an eye on things in the background. You can't sort of go, just leave everything. But yeah, so that gave me a bit of a chance to regroup as well and take up some leave. So I really appreciated that in a strange way. Obviously, there are always good things that come out of these horrible things. So that's the way that I have to look at it. Yeah.
And what are some of the projects that you've either worked on or working on?
Yeah, so obviously the Rural Women's Gathering that I mentioned, so that's a New South Wales gathering. So I'm the secretary for our committee. I just can't help putting my hand up. So that obviously we had to address with COVID. We had to look at that and the reality of not really knowing in April whether we could proceed or not, assuming that we wouldn't be able to. Going through the process of letting people know of what our new plan was for 2021. I guess backing up the committee and our chairperson, Di Gill, as well. So yeah, we've been fortunate to regroup now. We've got a new committee formed and working to October 2021. So it's all of
2021.
Yeah. So
seems like a long way off.
it does. It's just a year. Yeah. It's just a year away now. So less than a year. So
that will be held
in Forbes. Yeah. So we've still got a lot of planning. We have basically, due to COVID, just had a fresh look at everything. So we'll be making some of our bigger decisions about venues and workshops and things over the coming weeks. We want to try and have some of that sorted before the end of this year, so that and our sponsorship as well. Obviously, we're still looking for sponsorship for that as well. So,
how many women do you expect to?
So pre-COVID, we had been expecting 350, and obviously they bring with them their partners as well. So and that's why we saw it, I guess, as an alternative option to supporting community through drought, because obviously those people bring with them finances to the town, and surrounding areas. So that's the way that we look at it as well. It's not just about Forbes. It's on your way to Forbes, you visit a lot of places, and So and that actually works in with the Australian National Field Days in Orange as well. So that's one of our partners. We have a partners program, and so that so that's right. That same weekend. So.
Yeah, terrific. The other thing I was going to talk to you about was the assistance, and I remember coming out to Backyama with you a couple of years ago now.
It was three years ago, Phil.
3 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, geez, time does fly.
It does.
And
Facebook helps us remind us of these things.
Well, there you go. Come up as but it just made me think, and I've just seen the weather patterns in the last sort of few weeks. And Parks is a sort of, I don't know, you seem to get a lot of storms.
Yeah. So exactly the same thing happened.
Sort of facts to back that up, just anecdotally, but severe some thunderstorms, rain events. You get these sort of microcells that seem to hit this region.
Yeah.
And whether it be wind, rain, hail, some sort of storm or tempest. Yeah. You do seem to be exposed to a lot of that in this area, and that was a way that. Just tell us a little bit about that. I suppose.
Yeah.
But
so
how
basically,
some farmers reached out to you, and how government was able to assist.
Well, a lot of that, interestingly, being in a smaller community, you find out about these things on social media. So it's not necessarily someone ringing you, because usually landholders are not the people to be saying, "Oh, poor me, come and help me." It's usually initiated by someone else. So that was how that actually happened. And I had actually been at a previous event with Backyama Landcare, and being caught myself in one of these random events, and got back to town and there was actually nothing. So I knew how that could actually happen out there. It's and we have I guess had similar events since then as well. Some people might blame climate change, but we probably won't go there today. It's a tricky one. Well, so basically, I was really, really thankful for your initiating the visit to Parks as a result of that, and because
we went out.
We went out to Backyama. Yes, caught up with the farmers, had a look at what had actually happened. It was a Sunday. Yep. And just after I had met you at Parliamentary Friends of Landcare, it was. Yeah. So one of those fortuitous things. Yeah.
But a lot of those farmers had their fences destroyed as a result of the flash flooding of water and stuff like that. Yeah.
So, and that happens quite frequently, but we don't hear about it. But there was significant hail damage to quite a few crops there. So and then as a result of that, we did pursue the natural disaster submission. And a declaration was made. So as a result of that, that's right. Yeah,
so that was a good outcome.
It was definitely a good outcome
for those farmers out there. But that's just one thing. That probably a whole different range of issues or balls that you're juggling in the air.
Yeah, for sure.
Isn't it? Whether it's assisting farmers with events such as that, or weed control, or talk about, I suppose, and I'm interested about hear what you have to say about the rivers and creeks and managing and preserving those?
Yeah, so I think that for me, the one thing that has come up as a result of those storm events is that there is work that has been undertaken with funding, I guess in the initial stages of Landcare, by landholder groups that has been compromised through those storm events. And so a lot of works that were done, I guess, to remediate previous storm events have now been compromised. So, but there isn't a lot of funding out there for soil works to actually repair some of that work. So that's something that has actually been brought to my attention quite a few times in the last 12 months, that people now have these massive problems within their creek systems. And a lot of them are systems that had already had work done to them, had flumes installed and other remediation works done, that are now themselves being compromised again. And some of them are doing quite significant damage. But there isn't, so to actually do soil works now, you're sort of talking, just to repair one area, one flume, you can be talking $20,000 to $30,000. So that's a significant amount of money for a landholder to have to take on. And there isn't that sort of funding there for soil works now that there used to be. So I
know the Little River Group. I was at Yeovil earlier today, and I know the Little River Group out of there are quite an active group in that community out of Yeovil, and they've done along that Little River area. And I've spoken to a few of the landholders out there who speak very highly of the work that Landcare's done in terms of that system out there, and preserving and protecting, and trying to, I suppose, get it back to as natural state as possible. Which is not easy, but and there's always
so you kind of have to look at a new normal, I suppose. We're never going to get things back the way that they were. So we have to, I guess, look at how we can adapt to new regimes that are kind of replicate what would have been naturally occurring. So that's the way that I look at it now, and we try and do, I guess, what we can to restore to a point, but then we can never be realistically mimicking what we were originally.
Now you're here in the office here, great little spot just on the outskirts of Parks, in the old visitor information centre with the locomotive, and you're open to the public, so people can come in if they've got questions or they want to find out information. You've got a whole range of different material up the back there that you can give out. But a normal day or a normal week, how much time would you spend here, or how much compared to out in the field? And
well, so a normal day starts pretty early, but and usually that starts at home, it doesn't start here, because I love my job so much.
I know how enthusiastic, I'm not saying this to piss in your pocket, right? But I know how much you throw your energy and effort into what you do, and I know how passionate you are with your Landcare group, and I've seen you at those with the children there at the Forbes sale yards, and it's I can see how enthusiastic you are, and I know you're a hard working. You really throw everything into it. So I imagine you do long hours. So but I'd be curious to know sort of your balance, I guess, as to being stuck in an office behind a computer or being out on the field. I am in front of the computer an awful lot, Phil. but usually I can balance that out well. But the thing is now, because we're so mobile with our technology, so you can use a laptop anywhere as long as you've got a bit of service to send or receive. You can do that on your phone as well. Unfortunately that also means that consumes a lot of your after hours time as well. But because I'm passionate about what I do, then it kind of, the two get very meshed together, I suppose, personal and being in a small community as well. And Parks and Forbes, I know a lot of people in both of the towns and have worked also in Forbes, several jobs in Forbes. So, and that was going to flow on to my next question, I suppose. How do you sort of get away or have a bit of a break or recharge, I guess? What do you do outside of this sort of thing? Gardening. garden. So you still like being outside?
Still like being in those sorts of environments.
Yeah.
And I guess so. Personally, with boys growing older, that's all changing as well. So there'll be new opportunities to hopefully look at some new undertakings in the year ahead. For sure. So that's my plans at least. So So it is kind of a bit of more of the same environment that I would be working in as well. So for instance, if I go to the Forbes Farmers Market, which is coming up this weekend, then quite often I can use opportunities there to catch up with people and I don't know, just it's still Landcare. So I find that to be. I find for my personality, that's a privileged position because it suits me really well, and I guess if I can make a lot of difference. I think in the communities working that way. Yeah.
Where do you see Landcare going in the future?
Look. For me, I've got a fairly clear idea of next year, what next year will be, all pending COVID going to buggery and leaving us alone. So for me, it's I already have several major events that are planned. For Landcare as a whole, I think that the new program that we have, which basically provides 0.5 of my role, the rest of my role, so I work 4 days, the rest of my role is supported by our local funds and funds from projects. So I guess one enables the other. I see hopefully a lot more training as well. I'm certainly one that put my hand up for being able to have training opportunities. So hopefully that's something that will be embraced across the state. Because we have 70 coordinators funded through that same, I guess, base part-time funding as what my role is. I guess from a Landcare New South Wales perspective, there's also an Aboriginal program that has been rolled out as part of that as well, which is very exciting because a lot of us work individually with our local Aboriginal groups, and I've been fortunate to do that just I guess, on a weekly basis, but also through major events as well over the past few years. So very fortunate to have that local involvement, but having that extra funding there for someone who is specifically Landcare based, I guess is a good encouragement and a good resource for us to be able to go to and say, I've got this question, what do you think? Or and there are some funding opportunities there too for local Landcare programs with our Aboriginal communities.
Yeah, terrific. I think, like you said earlier, with the Eco Days for the kids, tripling basically the number of children being able to attend those is just in this Parks Forbes area alone is a great opportunity to really introduce those kids at that, that's a really pivotal age, that sort of 10, 11, 12 age bracket, I reckon, where kids are sort of, they're old enough to understand and you can
form opinions and contribute as well.
And I think that was a great initiative that was held out there. So it's great to see it's expanding. And
it's very exciting.
So what other exciting news do you have that's coming up for Landcare?
So, well, as part of Eco Day, we've got Costa Georgiadis coming to Forbes.
Costa?
So,
The man with the hair and the beard.
Yes.
Off ABC.
Yeah.
The garden show, or whatever it is.
Gardening Australia.
Gardening
Phil,
Australia.
Come on.
It's a gardening show.
I've
seen him running up and down the sideline of a rugby field. He's
that'd be him,
a rugby union referee.
Okay.
So there you go.
Man of many skills.
Man of many skills.
Also very good with his social media.
Yeah. I don't follow him. So
you should check him out.
I will. Tell us about Costa.
So basically, Costa is our guest speaker for Eco Day. So that is very exciting. Yes. And he'll also...
That's in February, isn't it?
No, that's in May. 28th of May.
Okay.
And
I do want to come to that.
Yes, I've got you on my list of invites.
Yes.
And so he'll also be our keynote speaker at a dinner that we're hosting at Forbes Town Hall that evening.
Terrific.
So that's an opportunity for the public to get involved there. So similar to a dinner that we held several years ago, and Forbes Town Hall is just a magnificent place to enjoy a dinner. It's beautiful. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to catching up with a few people that we'd had at our previous dinner as well, sort of updates on what they're up to. And he's also joining us at the Forbes Community Garden, Riverside Community Garden, the next morning. So the community, they've got their open day that next day, so the community can come along and meet him there as well.
You can give some tips.
He might be able to give you some tips on your worm farm.
Yes,
Phil.
yes, that's right.
That I'm sure you have in your office there.
I used to have a worm farm, but I don't anymore.
I think they're essential. I've got mine over here. Yes.
You got one here?
Last time I'm not actually letting you near that because last time you knocked it over in the park at Forbes. Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You just stay over here.
All the worm we went everywhere. Fertilise the grass. All right. Well, that's terrific. I look forward to seeing Costa in May.
Yep.
And that should be good.
Very good.
Well done.
Thanks, Phil.
No worries. Thanks.